Hello, students. We will wait for 5 minutes. Let's see if other participants are joining, and then we will start the lecture. Students, is the screen visible to you? Is the Word file which I am showing visible to you? React in some way. If it is visible, we will start with the lecture. Students, react, a thumbs up or something. Vraj, Ishan, Jay. Okay. So the screen is visible. If the screen is visible, we can start with the lecture. Today we'll be starting with the unit 2 of the certificate course which you have taken, that is media financing. Uh, unit 1 was done by Charmi ma'am, and my name is Preeti. I'll be taking your unit 2. So today we'll be starting with unit 2, which deals with traditional sources of media financing. Now, in unit 1, you might have covered things about what media financing, how it works, and various other basic things. Today we'll be discussing different sources through which media used to generate finance, or the media industry used to generate finance in traditional ways. So there are a list of ways. We'll be discussing some of them today. Now, when I say media production, especially when I'm talking about films and television contents, it requires heavy upfront investment. Now, what is upfront investment? From the smallest thing to one of the biggest paid actors, everything is supposed to be financed. आप एक छोटे से छोटे स्पॉट्स वर्कर की बात करो, एक प्रॉप की बात करो, फ्रॉम बैकग्राउंड सेटअप to the actors, everything is requiring payment, and the returns are only generated after the production is aired for the audience. मतलब audience देख रही है, उसके बाद revenue generation का process start होता है. So the whole production of the industry depends on financing, कि आपको पैसा कहाँ से मिल रहा है और आप उसको कैसे यूज करोगे for the production process. So that is important कि in media your returns are on the later end after the whole production is done. So for the whole production, which is usually a heavy investment, you have to depend upon multiple sources of finance, and that generation can be done via various ways. Some of them we'll be learning today. Now, the first one which we'll be learning will be the film studios or the sources of financing. What are film studios, how they help in generating finance, and what are the advantages? Anybody who is financing your project, any media project, any work, any creation, if somebody is financing your product, they in return will want something. Now, that something can be in different ways depending upon the contract which you people have with the which the financing team derives with the one creating the project. आपका financing team जो आपको finance देने वाला है, वो कौन से contract, कौन से terms पे आपको finance दे रहा है, ये बहुत important है. Nobody of course will be providing you finance for free. तो जब आपको पैसा वो देंगे, तो वो पैसे को रिटर्न के में वो बहुत सारी चीजें डिमांड करेंगे. देयर विल बी अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट व्हिच विल बी सेटल्ड अपॉन, terms and conditions will be which will be agreed by both the parties, the one achieving receiving the finance and the one providing finance. The first one is film studios. Now, as you know, what are film studios? So film studios are companies. Film studios are nothing but companies which support the production or the creation in the media industry. They provide capital, they work with the marketing, with the streaming, with the production, with the IPR rights. ये सब चीजों को जो हैंडल करता है इन अ मीडिया इंडस्ट्री, वो सब कौन करता है? तो अ फिल्म स्टूडियो. नाउ अ फिल्म स्टूडियो will do all this and also provide large capitals. Now, if the film studio is providing large capital, that is the finance for a particular creation, in return they'll demand certain things. Now, first we will understand what are the things they will be ready to finance. Why will they invest in your project? So the financing works such that they might develop or provide funds in your script development, in your casting, in your the production cost which happens, the marketing and promotion. All these costs will be borne or will be financed by the film studio. But of course, if they'll be putting in lot of money, they will require control. What controls will they require? They will control your distribution, your IPR, that is intellectual property. Now, what distribution and intellectual property am I talking about? They will decide on which streams, on which, whether it will be on a movie, what theaters, what days, everything related to distribution. अगर हम पुराने जमाने की बात करें तो कौन से चैनल पे आएगा, if we say what will be the ways the stream it will be streamed or it will be available to the public, वो कौन डिसाइड करेगा? तो द फिल्म स्टूडियो विच इज फाइनेंसिंग, और जिसके थ्रू हम अपना मीडिया क्रिएशन कर रहे हैं. इट इज इम्पॉसिबल फॉर अ क्रिएटर टू वर्क विदाउट अ फिल्म स्टूडियो. दे ऑलवेज वर्क टुगेदर. Films are made with the finance provided by these film studios. Also, they then handle the revenue which is generated because of the क्रिएशन. आपके बॉक्स ऑफिस का कलेक्शन हो गया, आपके ओटीटी से कोई कलेक्शन आ रहा है, ऑल दिस कलेक्शन विल बी लुक्ड आफ्टर, टेकन बाय द फिल्म स्टूडियो. In return to the capital they have financed for the production. For the finance they have done, they'll require two things. First, the control, the decision making. Second, the returns which are generated in monetary terms from the box office or any other streaming lines. Now tell me one thing first. Are you people listening, and is my voice audible and clear? Class will have to react in certain way. React in certain way that you people are listening. Okay, great. So I'll continue ahead. I hope you people are also understanding what I'm speaking. Okay, so continuing ahead, let's take a look into examples on how these film studios have financed various things previously. Industry examples, if I say, the Warner Bros. If you people know the name, as you people have selected this, I assume you have high interest in understanding how the media industry works. So Warner Bros., a famous film studio, very well known and esteemed film studio, financed the whole Harry Potter series. The whole Harry Potter series, the whole finance was done by which film studio? Warner Bros. So, as you know, the profit earned after the streaming of those series will also in turn be taken by Warner Bros. Anybody investing in the production will take over the returns generated. Another example which has been stated is Disney, the Disney studio financing the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the whole Marvel Universe. I hope you people know the whole Marvel Universe when we talk about Iron Man, Captain America, or Avengers. The whole Marvel Universe, the whole production of Marvel Universe was financed by which film studio? So the Disney Channel or the Disney Studios. Next, when we take about examples in the Indian film studios, you may know about Dharma Production, you may know about Yashraj Films. There are various other film studios. These film studios finance one of its products. Now, Yashraj Films finances its production like Pathan or Dharma also finances while partnering for distribution. मतलब वो उसका पूरा distribution channel handle करके they finance the project in which they are interested in. Okay, continuing. Sorry, I had to mute myself for a while. So Dharma Productions. Now, these film studios, when they take a decision whether or not they want to finance a production, of course, they'll go through various list of things like the script, the casting heroes, what might be the future. They'll forecast the revenue which will be generated from a particular production to analyze how much finance or how much risk they are ready to take while financing a certain product or the production. Now, what are the advantages you gain while a film studio finances your production? The first is financial stability. You'll have no, uh, uh, I'd say you'll have no worry about which finance or how the finances for the finance of your project will work. You'll have a global reach because if a film studio is financing your production, they'll ensure a proper marketing and distribution support. Why will they do that? Because without proper marketing and distribution, the revenue which they'll earn will have hindrances, will face obstacles. It might reduce the revenue. So to increase the revenue which they will earn, they'll put their 100% effort and give you the production 100% support for marketing and distribution. While, of course, if they are doing all those things, there will be certain limitations or disadvantages which your production or creativity may face. Now, what all those creativities that you face might be that the film studio may be able to give their input on how things are work, on how they want things to work, putting a control or restriction on your creative skills. आपके जो creative control होते हैं उस पे वो क्या कर सकते हैं, limitations या binding लगा सकते हैं. They may even tell you to hire certain heroes. Casting में है वो, they can interfere in your decisions, which may find as a limitation, putting a control, high commercial pressure on content. Now commercial pressure in the sense कि आपके जो ideas है, it should be such that the people are interested in watching. So you may need to alter your ideas according to the pressure or the demand of the film studios while we are talking about production. Now, as film studios are financing, there are other things which come in hand. That the other one is the production houses. Now, what is the difference between film studios and production houses? Be very clear. Film studios basically deals with distribution, marketing, and everything else, whereas production houses deals with the basic script writing, inner details of how the film would be. The production houses, mainly some of the production houses and film studios, work hand in hand. They might have a contractual agreement. Some of the production houses are nothing but a subsidiary of the film studios. जो film studios होते हैं ना, वो खुद के production houses own करते हैं बहुत बार, या तो वो बहुत सारे production houses के साथ क्या होता है, tie up में होते हैं या contractual agreement में होते हैं. Why is this done? Because film studios want to control the production, and that will only be possible when the production house is working on the films or the media projects, or the projects will be in control of the film product houses या film studios. तो इस तरीके से those two work hand in hand. जैसे film studios आपको finance provide करते हैं, वैसे ये प्रोडक्शन हाउसेस भी मीडिया प्रोजेक्ट्स को क्या कर सकते हैं, फिनेंस या कैपिटल प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं. नाउ दिस, सिंस दे आर प्रोवाइडिंग यू फाइनेंस, वो फाइनेंस प्रोवाइड कैसे करते हैं? सो दे प्रोवाइड यू बाय रेजिंग कैपिटल थ्रू वेरियस सोर्सेज. दिस सोर्सेज में डिफर फ्रॉम डिफरेंट प्रोडक्शन. ये अलग अलग प्रोडक्शन से डिफर हो कर सकता है. जैसे कि some of the sources may be bank loans, they may take short term loans for the production. The other can be having a partnership with the studios. The production houses which you are deciding to work with can partner with a particular film studio, and in return they will provide you funds. Also, it can be co-production, multiple production houses coming together to finance your project, to finance the to finance the media project you might be working on. The media project may be a television film, maybe a OTT series, it may be a serial, uh, a sitcom, whatever ideas you have. There can be ways you may need to raise funds. Now, production houses will help you raise funds. अगर आपको खुद को आइडिया नहीं है कि funds कैसे raise करना है, they'll provide you various sources through which you can raise funds. Some of them are listed like co-productions, bank loans, studio partnerships. However, production houses may not deal with distribution of the content themselves. They will be outsourcing that to whom? To the film studios. Let's understand certain examples where production houses work like this. I've taken an example of the Indian television. So the Balaji Telefilms produces TV serials. Now Balaji is a telefilm or a production house. This production house, it produces TV serials on a large scale. So to finance or to get finance for those production houses, what do? They get money from broadcasters like Star Plus and ZTV, जिनके चैनल पे वो ब्रॉडकास्ट होने वाला है. उन चैनल से फाइनेंस लेना, उन चैनल्स के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में आना, ये काम कौन करेगा? प्रोडक्शन हाउस करेगा. दिस इज वन ऑफ द एग्जांपल वेयर प्रोडक्शन हाउस helps to generate finance for the media industry. Now, an international example which has been given over here is Working Title. Now, Working Title is a production company. It is not something name of a film or something. Working Title is a production company which produces content. Now, major of its content of this production houses, it is financed by which film studio? Universal Pictures. You should understand that Working Title is a production house and Universal Picture is a film studio. So anybody interested in working with that production house, the finance will come through what? Universal Pictures. So a writer, a content developer who might not have idea to how to generate finance will go to a production house and they will help them to generate finance. It is one of the traditional sources, or how long back the things about raising finance in the media industry used to work. Now, what are the advantages over here? Instead of getting finance directly from the film studios, if you're working with the production house, the production house will have a more say or more control over here. So, giving you creative flexibility. Now, क्रिएटिव फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी इन द सेंस आप डिसाइड कर सकते हो कि आप कैसा कंटेंट क्रिएट करना चाहते हो, कैसा कंटेंट शो करना चाहते हो, what kind of audience or what kind of content, which audience level you want to show. The creative hindrance which you face in film studios financing reduces a bit to production financing, because जब वो finance करेंगे तो the major control lies with them. So what kind of content, what will be the casting, who will be the casting directors, who will be the actors, the flexibility over this decision increases when we are talking about financing via film studios. What are the other advantages? So, because of multiple finances, instead of just one person or one film studio financing, there are multiple production houses. It can be different sources of finance. Thus, there is a risk sharing. The risk is shared among all those financiers, reducing the overall risk which one financing industry may would have suffered. एक के ऊपर पूरा burden डालने से अच्छा, they are sharing the risk. The next is television networks. Now, television networks, how they finance media projects or media work. Television network finance content primarily to fill programming slots and attract viewers for advertising revenue. Now, television networks or the financing model when we talk about usually is also known as network commission shows. Now, what is network commission shows? Or what happens over here is you the shows which are produced on those television network works on commission basis. They provide a prior finance. They provide a prior finance. How? So the producers of the media projects, so the media work, are paid. How are they paid? They are paid per episode. While the production or the broadcasting is done on the television networks, they are paid with per episode. Uh, the television network, what happens over here is, suppose I'll explain you taking an example. Say Colors TV. Now, Colors TV is nothing but a television network. It funds reality shows like Big Boss. Now, Big Boss being a reality show or any media production show, okay, so we will continue. Now, I was explaining the example where the shows like Big Boss is funded by a television network like Colors TV. And now Colors TV over here has the owning rights or distribution rights. What happens is this television network will finance the production or the cost which the production team incurs. आपका जो भी प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट होगा, जो भी चार्जेस होंगे, पेमेंट होगा, वो सब कौन फाइनेंस करेगा? ये टेलीविजन नेटवर्क फाइनेंस करेगा. ओके, आफ्टर द फाइनेंसिंग दे विल एक्सपेक्ट समथिंग इन रिटर्न. तो इससे कलर्स टीवी का एक स्लॉट बुक हो गया, मतलब उनके जो नेटवर्क है उसमें दे नो कि इस टाइम पे इतना जो पेमेंट है या इतने टाइम तक जो रनिंग होगा इस पर्टिकुलर शो का होगा. सो ड्यूरिंग दिस टाइम व्हाट विल हैपन इज वो आपके फाइनेंस करेंगे चीजों को. अब while financing they will want two things. The first is the return, the second is they will want the rights over what. As you see, जब हम बात करते हैं कि बिग बॉस की एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं, इट विल बी शोन ओनली ऑन विच चैनल? कलर्स. तो उसका जो ब्रॉडकास्टिंग राइट है वो किसके पास आ गया? कलर्स टीवी के पास आ गया. Also assume if they are being streamed online on some OTT channels, may it be Voot, may it be Netflix, may it be Amazon, or whatever, Prime, whatever streaming channels we have, OTT platforms we have, उन सब में अगर वो स्ट्रीम होगा तो उसका भी जो रेवेन्यू होगा वो किसके पास आ सकता है? ये टेलीविजन नेटवर्क्स जो फाइनेंस कर रहे हैं उनके पास आ सकता है. तो पहला उनको मिल जाएगा स्ट्रीमिंग राइट्स एंड ब्रॉडकास्टिंग राइट्स. ऑफ कोर्स ड्यू टू दैट दे विल generate revenue. Also, other than that, the financing, the producers who are producing these shows will have a long term finance. Since these shows or television networks may work on for long term period, the contracts are usually long term, giving a guarantee or a stability for finance to for the finance producers of the shows. Also, the slots, the television networks will have a fixed slots. They'll know for the following time frame, the television networks will be broadcasting the following shows. What are the limitations? The TRP, that is television rating points. Now, the content which a television network will finance depends on the TRP they are generating, depends on the subscriber the particular show is able to generate, depending on the watches it has generated. All these things will generate revenue for the television network, and hence they monitor this closely. Many times you might have heard there are certain serials which are closed down in between without giving a proper ending to the shows. The reason for that is the TRP they generate, the revenue they generate for the network film is not enough. So if the television networks are financing your shows, they will want returns and also rights of broadcasting while financing the project. The next is distributors. Now, who are distributors? So, distributors act as intermediaries who buy rights to distribute films in specific territories and formats. Now, these distributors are distributing channels or agents who finance producers who finance the producers while they are producing or working on a certain project. While financing these projects, they want to buy rights. With rights, the distribution rights. जैसे कि मैंने बात किया कि television network works on distribution. Similarly, if a distributor is financing or providing fund, they will want distribution rights of the work. What financing role do they play? So they provide advance money before the film or the production releases the work. वो अपना काम रिलीज करने से पहले ही आपको क्या करते हैं, तो फाइनेंस प्रोवाइड करते हैं. And how do they recover the cost of the finance which they have provided? So they recover the cost from the box office collection or the collection on the OTT platforms with the watching and everything. So the distributors provide finance before the release. Now, these distributors may be the OTT channels, these distributors may be television networks or the broadcasters. This distributor can be agents working with those companies. So ये distributors क्या करते हैं, तो वो आपको पहले तो एडवांस मनी प्रोवाइड करेंगे which helps you to cover the cost of production, and in return they'll be expecting two things. The first is the returns from the collections of the box office. The second is distribution rights. Now, taking an example or the industry example, the South Indian distributors funding dubbed Hindi versions. Now, as you know, many of the South Indian movies are usually dubbed in Hindis, so there's dubbing work. So, those distributors finance this work of dubbing, but while finding, they also what the distributor. Class give. Now, there's an example over here. Actually, I had forgotten to start the recording again while I had taken a muted myself earlier. Now, I'll see what I'll do with the recordings, but for now, I'll continue. The film festival, like the Cannes Film Festival, pre-sales for European cinema. तो यहाँ पे वो आपको क्या करते हैं, अपने राइट्स को प्री सेल करते हैं. व्हाट आर द एडवांटेजेस? सो इमीडिएट कैश फ्लो, आपको जो कैश फ्लो होगा वो इमीडिएट मिलेगा बिकॉज ऑफ दिस राइट्स व्हिच यू हैव सोल्ड. सेकंड, इट रिड्यूसेस डिपेंडेंसी ऑन लोन्स. आपको लोन्स की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. एज यू पीपल अंडरस्टैंड दैट व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट लोन्स, यू विल हैव टू पे इंटरेस्ट ऑन दोज लोन्स. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ पेइंग इंटरेस्ट, आप क्या कर सकते हो, तुरंत कैश फ्लो जनरेट कर सकते हो. It reduces dependency on other production houses and film studios. What are the limitations? Limited upside if the content becomes a blockbuster. Negotiated at lower price release. A problem with this, because your content is not released yet, you may know the anticipated demand of what the revenue may be, but you might आफ्टर द कंटेंट इज रिलीज, सपोज वो सुपर ब्लॉकबस्टर होता है और बहुत हाई रेवेन्यू जनरेट कर रहा है, बट क्योंकि आपने पहले से अपने राइट्स को प्री सेल किए हुए हैं, आपको वो रेवेन्यू का फायदा नहीं हो सकता. सो ओवर हियर, बिकॉज इट इज प्री रिलीज के सेलिंग राइट्स में आपके जो नेगोशिएशन पावर होता है एज द प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ द कंटेंट, इट इज वेरी लेस. इट इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट disadvantage or limitation in a pre-sale. Okay. uh, I'm giving you people 5 minutes. I want you to at least Write and give me examples now itself. If you want to do a Google search, do that. Give me examples of the major films which were financed or have pre-sold their selling rights. I need at least one example by each student in the chat box. So I know that you have been active. I've been speaking for past 40 minutes, but it is important that you students are also listening and responding. So give me example of pre-sales, one each in the chat box. I'll be checking the chat box now. I hope I was clear. I want the examples of what we have discussed. मीडिया फाइनेंसिंग में हमने चार चीजें डिस्कस की, रिलीजिंग फाइनेंस टू फिल्म स्टूडियोज, थ्रू प्रोडक्शन हाउसेज, थ्रू प्री सेल्स, थ्रू डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स, थ्रू टेलीविजन नेटवर्क्स. 5 डिस्कस हो गए. So out of these 5 sources, I want you people to go search and give me examples of the same. I have included some industry examples myself, but other than that, the students are supposed to be more active while having a lecture or session attended. Okay, at least react whether you are understanding what I'm speaking or am I talking to just the walls over here. I'm not telling you people to unmute. I'm not telling you to on your cameras. Just react in certain way so that I understand that you people are listening. Okay, continuing ahead. Now, we'll move on to the next source of media financing, that is syndication. Now, what is a syndication? Uh, First, we'll understand the term syndication and then we'll move forward to what exactly and how it works in media financing. So, syndication is the sale of content to multiple broadcasters after initial airing. After initial airing, the syndication is nothing but the sale of the content to multiple broadcasters after initial airing. Now, what does that mean? एक बार आपने अपना प्रोडक्शन रन कर लिया, वो रिलीज हो गया. आफ्टर इनिशियल एयरिंग, आफ्टर वंस द प्रोडक्शन इज रिलीज्ड फॉर द ऑडियंस, यू आर उसके बाद व्हेन यू सेल अपने कंटेंट को आप क्या करते हो, तो उसमें मल्टीपल ब्रॉडकास्टर्स को आप सेलिंग राइट्स दे रहे हो, दैट इज सिंडिकेशन। अंडरस्टैंड द डिफरेंस बिटवीन प्री सेल्स एंड सिंडिकेशन। प्री सेल्स इज डन बिफोर द रिलीज ऑफ योर कंटेंट फॉर द ऑडियंस। Syndication is done after the release of your content, after initial airing. Once you have a idea of what is the demand and how much you want to sell the right earning finance, वो चीजों को आप क्या करते हो, तो उसको हम बोलते हैं सिंडिकेशन। Now, off-network syndication and first-run syndication. Now, what is off-network syndication? Reruns after the original broadcast. Now, what is reruns? You might have heard many of the shows are being rerun. What is that? आपने हम सब यहाँ पे एज अ many of the students who are big fan of तारक मेहता का उल्टा चश्मा और CID और Friends as we say a series, उन सबको हम क्या करते हैं, रीवॉच करते हैं। नाउ रीवॉच कैन बी डन आइदर, हम जब टीवी पे तारक मेहता के उल्टे चश्मा के पुराने एपिसोड्स देखते हैं, द ओल्ड एपिसोड्स। नाउ व्हाट आर दोस ओल्ड एपिसोड्स, व्हाई आर दे बीइंग रीरन ऑन द टेलीविजन नेटवर्क्स? This is nothing but off-network syndication. You sell the rerunning rights to certain networks and earn finance from them. So that is known as off-network syndication. Reruns after your original broadcast. What is first-run syndication? Shows produced specifically for syndication. जैसे कि आपकी बिग बैंग थियरी, सोल्ड ग्लोबली, जनरेटिंग बिलियंस, ये सारे जो होते हैं वो आपके इसमें आते हैं फर्स्ट रन सिंडिकेशन। फर्स्ट एयरिंग के बाद आपने सोल्ड कर दिया, दैट इज फर्स्ट रन सिंडिकेशन। रीरन के लिए मल्टीपल ब्रॉडकास्टर्स को सेल किया, दैट इज ऑफ नेटवर्क सिंडिकेशन। Now, how is this benefit for the producer? Why will the producer be benefited while having a syndication or selling the rights after even airing? क्योंकि production तो already done हो गया। So the reason over here is it will help you to generate long term revenue. आपका long term revenue generation का एक source होता है syndication। जो कंटेंट आपने क्रिएट किया है, जिसको जो आर्ट आपने क्रिएट किया है, जो मीडिया वर्क आपने क्रिएट किया है, उसको आप रिपीटेडली क्या कर सकते हैं, मोनेटाइज कर सकते हैं। मोनेटाइजिंग इज नथिंग बट जनरेटिंग रेवेन्यू टू द सेम आर्टवर्क। जितनी बार भी वो यूज होगा, जितनी बार भी वो रीरन होगा, उतनी बार उनको आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, पेमेंट करना पड़ेगा एज द प्रोड्यूसर। इट इज मोर लाइक जैसे आप अपने पेटेंट को किसी को सेल करो और वो यूज कर रहा है, सिमिलर टू दैट काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग वर्क्स इज सिंडिकेशन। Now, this syndication is only suitable for पॉपुलर एंड लॉन्ग रनिंग कंटेंट। जो कंटेंट पॉपुलर है, जिसका रीरन्स का डिमांड है, जो कि आपके मोस्टली किस पे होता है, तो टेलीविजन नेटवर्क्स पे होते हैं। फिल्म्स होता है, जैसे कुछ फिल्म्स होते हैं, जैसे दी फेमस एग्जांपल हम बहुत ज़्यादा वहाँ पे मीम्स बनते हैं उसके, सूर्यवंशी की, जो आपका सूर्यवंशम मूवी था, उसके जो रीरन थे वो स्पेसिफिकली एक चैनल को दिए गए थे बिकॉज ऑफ द डिमांड ऑफ दैट चैनल। तो जितनी बार वो रीरन होगा, उतनी बार वो कंटेंट का क्या होगा, तो उससे मोनेटाइजिंग वैल्यू जनरेट होगी टू द प्रोड्यूसर। बट ये उन्हीं चीजों के लिए हो सकता है जो सबसे पहले लॉन्ग रनिंग हो, सेकंड जिनका डिमांड हो। अब द प्रॉब्लम विद सिंडिकेशन इज दिस सिंडिकेशन the way this whole work, the syndication thing is reducing its value. Why is it reducing its value? Due to OTT platforms. Now when I talk about OTT platforms, अगर किसी OTT platform पे एक बार उसने अपना राइट खरीद लिया, जैसे कि कोई पर्टिकुलर मूवी, डिज्नी मूवीज हो गई, कोई पर्टिकुलर सीरीज हो गया, जो एक बार OTT पे एयर हो रहा है, इट विल बी ओवर देयर फॉर परमानेंट। उसको बार-बार रीरन करने के लिए जो कॉस्ट होता है, जो किसी पर्टिकुलर टेलीविज़न नेटवर्क को पे करना होगा, वो ओटीटी को प्लेटफ़ॉर्म को पे नहीं करना पड़ेगा। तो जो प्रोड्यूसर्स को लॉन्ग टर्म रेवेन्यू जनरेट होता था, वो नहीं होगा बिकॉज़ ऑफ द ओटीटी प्लेटफ़ॉर्म्स व्हिच आर रनिंग शोज़ फॉर एटर्नल। जब तक उसके पास वो राइट है, तब तक वो क्या करेगा, उस शो को रन करेगा। दैट इज़ द रीज़न वी हैव एक्सेस टू so many old series which were movies which were produced long back but are still available on those OTT platforms because they have purchased the right. Today we'll be discussing the last, that is advertising revenues, and how those help you to finance your media products or media work. Advertising revenue is primarily for financing source for broadcast television and some digital platforms. Now, advertisement of certain things, of certain work, how do they help you to generate revenue? So, these advertisers pay you based on what? आपके जो एडवर्टाइजर्स कंपनी होंगी वो आपको किस बेसिस पे पेमेंट करेंगी? सो दे बेस यू ऑन टू थिंग्स, द टीआरपी व्हिच जनरेट्स, द टीआरपी व्हिच योर एड और व्हिच योर वर्क विल जनरेट, उस पे बेस्ड पे पेमेंट होगा. सेकंड, ऑडियंस डेमोग्राफिक्स इज इम्पोर्टेंट. व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ऑडियंस इज द you are attracting. The third is prime time slots. कौन से टाइम पे वो आपके एड रन हो रहे, इवन डिपेंड्स ऑन दैट. तो उस चीज पे भी डिपेंड कर सकता है कि आपका जो पेमेंट होगा वो किस पे होगा. ना रेवेन्यू फंड किस पे होंगे, तो आपके वो किस चीज को फंड करेंगे. तो प्रोग्राम प्रोडक्शंस को फंड कर सकते हैं, चैनल ऑपरेशंस को फंड कर सकते हैं. एग्जाम्पल्स लेते हैं, जो आईपीएल का ब्रॉडकास्ट होता है, इट इज फंडेड हेवीली बाय द एडवर्टाइजर्स. आईपीएल एडवर्टीजमेंट एवरीबडी वॉचेस, एवरीबडी लाइक्स और एंजॉयज वॉचिंग आईपीएल का एडवर्टीजमेंट. सो दिस आईपीएल एडवर्टीजमेंट इस, तो आईपीएल का ब्रॉडकास्टिंग होता है, आप देखते हो कि वहाँ पे बहुत सारी एडवर्टीजमेंट कंपनीज जो होती है वो उसको क्या करती है, फाइनेंस करती है, उसमें पैसा इन्वेस्ट करती है, एंड देन गेट द रिटर्न ऑफ कोर्स बिकॉज ऑफ द टीआरपी विच दोज एड जनरेट. Reality shows like Indian Idol, they also rely on the sponsorships given by those advertisement companies. These are nothing but the revenues, or how a media financing may get sponsorships or revenues from these things. What are the advantages? It has a continuous revenue stream. व्यूवरशिप ग्रोथ, अगर व्यूवरशिप ग्रोथ होता है तो उससे वो आप क्या कर सकते हो, स्केल कर सकते हो, आप मेजर कर सकते हो. However, there is a limitation that the revenue from this is highly dependent on ratings and demand, audience fragmentation, the time slots. तो उसका पे करने का जो क्राइटेरिया है, द रेवेन्यू डिपेंड्स ऑन दैट कि व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ऑडियंस इट इज अट्रैक्टिंग. आर द ऑडियंस वाचिंग दोस एड और आर दे स्किपिंग इट? व्हाट काइंड ऑफ वॉच टाइम जो होता है, आपका जो स्केल होता है वो कितना है, उस पे एड का रेवेन्यू जनरेट करेगा, वो डिपेंड करता है. जो इफेक्टिवनेस होती है वो उस पे डिपेंड करती है. So these are 7 different ways through which you can generate finance in media industry. The first one is generating finance to film studios. The second is production house. The third is television networks. The fourth is distributors. The fifth is pre-sales. The next is syndication, and the last one is advertising revenues. I hope you people had a rough idea of how these people provide you finance. Some of them are certain industries, some of them are companies. While providing finance, they focus on how the finance which they are providing will give them returns. Some of them focus on box office revenue collection, some of them focus on selling rights, some of them focus on reruns. But any company or industry providing finance will keep in mind that they have the returns on the money they are investing. And while demanding the return, they also might demand control over how the things work. So that's the reason every source of finance you opt for will have certain limitations and certain advantages. Depending upon what a producer wants and what kind of restrictions is he ready to face, they'll decide the type of finance they are willing to go for. Many a times the producer may opt for multiple sources of finance instead of depending on one of the sources. किसी एक पे डिपेंड करने की जगह पे वो क्या कर सकते हैं, अपने रिस्क को डाइल्यूट करने के लिए, कम करने के लिए, डाइवर्सिफाई करने के लिए मल्टीपल सोर्सेज ऑफ फाइनेंसेस यूज कर सकते हैं. इज इट क्लियर? So with this today I'll discuss only this one topic, and for tomorrow's session I may change the timing, and if there is a change in the timing I'll update you. I'll take an hour session every day, so that will complete the module 2 in 1 week. After module 2 is completed, the module 3 will be taken by another professor. So I'll share the notes. I'll create a Word file of whatever I'm teaching, and the notes will be shared with you on your WhatsApp group. You may have the access to it later. For now, today I'll be ending the session. The students can leave the meeting.